Imagine waking up to the serene whisper of dawn, only to have it shattered by a self-appointed neighborhood dictator marching across your lawn like she's invading Poland. That's exactly what happened to me, Alex Thorne, on what should have been a quiet Tuesday in Willow Grove, a picture-perfect American suburb where the grass is always greener, because if it's not, you'll get fined for it. But this wasn't just any petty squabble. It was the spark that ignited a full-blown rebellion against the iron-fisted rule of the Homeowners Association, led by none other than the queen of passive-aggressive notes herself, Karen Whitaker. I always cherished those early mornings in Willow Grove. The kind where the world feels paused, birds chirping softly, dew glistening on perfectly manicured lawns that hid 1,000 secrets. For years, I'd start my day with a black coffee on the porch, scrolling through code on my laptop. I'm a data analyst by trade, the guy who spots patterns in chaos for big tech firms. But that morning, the air felt thick, like it was conspiring against me. Little did I know, it was about to deliver a human hurricane named Karen. I'd moved into my late aunt's house 6 months prior. Aunt Eleanor had been a rebel in her own right, a feisty widow who'd bought this plot back in the 70s when Willow Grove was just rolling hills and wildflowers, long before the developers swooped in with their cookie-cutter McMansions and that infernal HOA charter. She never signed on to their nonsense, and neither did I. The house was a time capsule, creaky hardwood floors, a garden overrun with heirloom roses that defied every approved plant list, and a privacy hedge she'd planted herself, tall, unruly evergreens that blocked prying eyes and, apparently, ruffled feathers. Rumors about me started almost immediately. Whispers in the neighborhood Facebook group, that new guy's hedge is an eyesore, probably hiding something shady. Heard he's antisocial. Never attends block parties. Bet he's the type who lets his yard go wild just to spite us. I ignored it at first. Let them talk. I was too busy settling in, dealing with probate paperwork that confirmed my property's independence from the HOA. But ignoring a storm doesn't make it go away, it just lets it build. That fateful morning, I was mid-sip when I spotted her. Karen Whitaker, HOA President Extraordinaire, striding across my lawn in yoga pants and a visor that screamed, "I manage people for fun." She had that clipboard clutched like a shield, her phone in the other hand, probably live-tweeting her inspection. She didn't knock or wave. She just plunged into my hedge with a pair of garden shears she'd apparently brought for the occasion, snipping away at a branch like it had personally offended her. "Morning," I called out, keeping my voice neutral, though my pulse ticked up. She didn't look up, just kept hacking. "This foliage exceeds the allowable perimeter density by at least 20%, she declared, her tone clipped and officious, like she was reading from a court docket. I set my mug down. "Excuse me," she finally straightened, brushing leaves off her spotless top, and fixed me with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, the kind of grin that says, "I'm being polite, but you're already on my list. Mr. Thorne, is it? I'm Karen Whitaker, president of the Willow Grove Homeowners Association. We've received complaints about this jungle. It's non-compliant with Section 4.2 of the covenants. No natural barriers over 5 feet without board approval. There'll be a $300 fine to start, plus remediation costs." I blinked, processing the absurdity. My hedge? The one Aunt Eleanor had nurtured for decades? I appreciate the concern, Ms. Whitaker, but this property isn't under HOA jurisdiction. I checked with the county. It's grandfathered in. Her eyes narrowed, that fake smile twitching like a glitch. "Oh, honey, Everyone thinks that until they read the fine print. Willow Grove is a community, and communities thrive on unity. Your grandfathered excuse? That's just code for freeloading off our standards while ignoring the rules that keep property values high. She waved her shears dismissively. I'll email you the violation notice. Fix it, or we'll escalate. Escalate. The word hung there like a threat wrapped in neighborly concern. I watched her march off, shears swinging, and felt a slow burn in my gut. Not anger yet, just the quiet observation of a data analyst spotting a flawed algorithm. Karen wasn't just enforcing rules. She was the rule, a walking embodiment of suburban tyranny, where community meant conformity at any cost. By noon, the rumors amped up. A post in the neighborhood app, concerned about the new resident at 47 Elm? His overgrown hedge is a safety hazard. Kids could get lost in it. Let's support our HOA in maintaining our beautiful standards. Willow Grove Pride comments flooded in. Totally agree. Karen, he's probably growing weeds in there. Heard he's rude. Didn't even offer her coffee during the inspection. I chuckled darkly at that one. Offer coffee to the woman pruning my property without permission? Yeah, right. I stayed silent, but I started documenting. Screenshots of posts, photos of my untouched hedge, emails to my lawyer friend who specialized in property law. Patience was my weapon. I'd learned that from years of debugging code rush in, and you create more bugs. 2 days later, the first official letter arrived, stuffed in my mailbox with a bright red urgent sticker. Notice of violation, unauthorized vegetation. Failure to comply within 72 hours will result in daily fines of $50 and potential lien on property. Signed, of course, by Karen Whitaker, with her title embossed like royalty. I ignored it, but the whispers turned to stares. Neighbors avoided eye contact at the mailbox. One even crossed the street when I walked my cat. Whiskers, a fluffy Maine Coon who couldn't care less about HOA drama. Then came the passive-aggressive drive-bys, cars slowing past my house, phones out, snapping pics. I waved cheerfully each time, knowing it irked them. Karen didn't wait for the 72 hours. On day 2, she showed up again, this time with reinforcements, a drone humming overhead, filming my yard. For documentation purposes, she called out as I stepped onto the porch. We need evidence of non-compliance. Evidence, I echoed, crossing my arms. Of a hedge that's been here since Nixon was president? She adjusted her visor, ignoring the sarcasm. Mr. Thorne, this isn't personal. It's about fairness. Everyone else trims to code. Why should you be special? Think of the children. That hedge could harbor pests. Pests. The irony hit me like a bad punchline. The real pest was buzzing above us, invading my privacy. Ms. Whitaker, if fairness is the goal, why not respect my deed? It's public record, no HOA encumbrance. Her laugh was sharp, rehearsed. Deeds are outdated. Communities evolve. If we let one person slide, next thing you know, pink flamingos in every yard, cars on blocks. Chaos. She gestured dramatically, as if my hedge was the gateway to apocalypse. I nodded slowly. Chaos-like. Flying drones over private property without consent? That sounds chaotic. She faltered for a split second, then recovered with that saccharine smile. This is for the greater good. You'll thank me when your home value soars. With that, she recalled the drone and left, but not before dropping a flyer. Join the HOA Volunteer Patrol. Help keep Willow Grove pristine. That night, the online mob grew. He's defiant. Karen's trying to help. And he mocks her. Boycott his house on Halloween. No candy for rebels. I sipped whiskey, scrolling, noting how Karen liked every negative comment. Manipulation 101. Control the narrative. Isolate the outlier. But isolation breeds clarity. I dug deeper into HOA records. Public filings showed complaints against Karen herself. Overzealous fines. Selective enforcement. One neighbor fined for a non-approved bird feeder. Another for hanging laundry on a visible line. It was a pattern of power abuse, all under the guise of order. The escalation hit peak absurdity a week later. I came home from work to find yellow caution tape strung across my driveway, courtesy of Karen and her board buddies, a retired accountant named Bob, who nodded like a bobblehead, and Linda, a PDA mom with a perpetual clipboard tan. "What's this?" I asked, stepping over the tape like it was a joke. Karen stood tall, hands on hips. "Quarantine zone. Your hedge tested positive for invasive species, per our expert." She thrust a printout at me, a Google search on common yard pests. I scanned it, suppressing a laugh. "Your expert is Wikipedia?" Bob cleared his throat. "It's preliminary. But we can't risk spread." "Spread of what?" "Independence." I shot back, my patience thinning. Karen's eyes flashed. "Mock all you want, but rebellion is contagious. If you ignore us, others will too. We maintain harmony here." "Harmony like taping off lawns?" I gestured at the ridiculous barrier. Neighbors were watching now, phones out, live streaming the spectacle. Linda chimed in, voice quivering with faux concern. "Think of the property values, Alex. We're all in this together." "Together except for the part where my aunt opted out," I replied calmly. "I've got the docs." "Want to see?" Karen waved it off. "Docs schmuck. You're part of Willow Grove now. Comply or face consequences." Consequences. There it was again, the veiled threat. I didn't budge, just untied the tape and tossed it in my recycling bin. "Have a nice day," that pushed her over the edge. As they left, I heard her mutter to Bob, "He's aggressive." I feel unsafe. Aggressive? For recycling? Sure enough, the next morning, sirens wailed. 2 cop cars pulled up, lights flashing for maximum drama. Officer Ramirez stepped out, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Karen was already there, wringing her hands theatrically. "Officers, this man is harassing the board, refusing lawful orders, endangering the community." I met Ramirez's gaze from my porch. "Morning, officer." "Coffee?" He sighed. "What's the issue?" Karen launched in. "His hedge is illegal, and he's threatened us." "Threatened?" Ramirez raised an eyebrow. "How?" By defying authority," she sputtered, her composure cracking. It was almost pitiful, if not so ridiculous. I handed over my deed printouts. "Properties exempt. Check the county." Ramirez skimmed them, nodded. "Looks legit." "Ma'am, HOAs aren't law. This is civil, not criminal." But harmony," Karen protested, voice rising to a whine. "Harmony doesn't involve false reports," he warned. "Next time, it's a fine for you." As the cops left, Karen stood there, deflated, her board buddies shuffling away. The neighborhood chat exploded. Did Karen just get schooled? About time someone stood up. But the real twist came when I called in my ace. A property rights auditor from a firm I'd consulted during inheritance. They arrived in unmarked vans, looking like FBI agents, suits, tablets, the works. Karen, spotting them from her window, rushed out, assuming victory. Finally, enforcement, the lead auditor, a no-nonsense woman named Reyes, cocked her head. "Ma'am, we're here to verify jurisdiction." Karen beamed. "Verify away. He's in violation." Reyes scanned my docs with a laser reader. Chain of title clear. No HOA lien. This parcel's autonomous. Karen's face crumpled. "But Unity doesn't trump deeds," Reyes said flatly. "You've trespassed multiple times. That's the real violation." The street went silent. Neighbors emerged, murmuring. One whispered, "She fined me for my doormat color last month." As Karen retreated, wreath slamming on her door, it fell. Comically, the dam broke. People approached me. She threatened liens over my kids' trampoline, banned my holiday lights for excessive wattage. Stories poured out, a cascade of absurdity under Karen's reign. I felt a mix of vindication and pity. Karen wasn't evil, just a control freak terrified of disorder, probably from her own life's mess. Divorced, laid off, clinging to her HOA throne like a life raft. Days later, I saw her alone on her stoop, paperwork scattered, looking lost. "You win," she muttered as I passed. "Not about winning," I said. "About boundaries." She nodded weakly. "I thought rules fixed everything. But they broke more. The community evolved. Voluntary meetups replaced mandates. Potlucks, garden shares. No collapse, just freedom. I added a trellis to my hedge, inviting vines, symbolizing guarded welcome. Months on, Karen knocked timidly, holding seeds. Block planting day. "Join." I took them. Sure. Redemption crept in quietly, like dawn after storm. So, was Karen the villain, or just a product of a system that rewards control freaks? True or false? In HOA hell, the real fence is the one around empathy. Drop your take below. Did you fight your Karen, or let karma handle it?